All right, good evening, everyone. So we're going to start with making them offerings, then refuge and bodhicitta. Started. That's right, yeah.
Sangi chodam soji chonla chanchu padu dani kyabsunchi dagi chushiki betsona rolam benshi sangi drupara sho Sangi chodam soji chonla chanchu padu dani kyabsunchi dagi chushiki betsona rolam benshi sangi drupara sho Sangi chodam soki chonala chanchu badu dani kyabsuchi dagi chushi gibi tsonu ji dra sangi drupara sho kanki tulze nyi zomne tawa tamji pambi chere tambi chunu tenzi kodam jela chanze lo Good evening, everyone. Because the Tsultrim dan David told it, Tsosa tan Kolaya, Dortu to Shiro, Tsok Sati, Jadan Tsok Dadun Chixiros, Tsok Dadun Chixi, and it's Solaya, number Nichi, Zodi, Sonum Zoda, Ishi Tsok Sati. The dig Tsok, the Jutsok. Said it so, Danganzu, and Tartuna. 당연히 다와 탐지 김비 공부 토고연자 아니 탐지 김비 공방 내야 조 산지 고도 투니 원체니 탁고 투니 주야기 주식 주도는 시험이 되니 아 손으로 저도 이시 소세트니 내그리스 takase 너도 쉬어라스라
In the previous session, we spoke of the path of accumulation, and we had a brief discussion about the path of accumulation. We looked at the meaning of the term accumulation in terms of explaining what the two accumulations are. So we have the accumulation of merit and the accumulation of exalted wisdom, exalted knowledge. These are the two accumulations. So then, in terms of looking at our ultimate goal is liberation or omniscience, the state of Buddha. This is actually our ultimate goal, the state of Buddha. So in order then to attain that ultimate goal, the state of Buddha, which means the two bodies of Buddhas, we need the corresponding two collections, which are the collections of causes for attaining the two bodies of Buddhas.
Rushiki Juchidam, took number Tamjiki Shisanamudu, Chukikosanam, Dim Rushiki, any Guni Gorosra.
So we have two sets of collections of causes for attaining the two bodies of Buddha. So what are they? On one hand, we have a body that is called in Indian language the Rupakaya, or in English, the form body of Buddha. On the other hand, we have the other collection of causes for attaining the Dharmakaya, the Dharma body of Buddha.
The Chukulaya 추기꼴이야 아니 또바 이시 추거든 빵바 아니 모니기 코스 니치요레스.
So we mentioned those two bodies of Buddhas. The last one was the Dharmakaya. Now there are two types of Dharmakaya. There's the one of realization. The one of realization is called the realizational exalted knowledge Dharmakaya. And the other one is of abandonment, and that is called the essence kaya.
양간주 군조숨 시험인데 군조숨은 추 군조 시험인데 추 군조라 양 골럼 니치 시작도 왔다 디 탈도버디 아니 이시고 차고라스 디니 탈도버디 이시고 차고라스.
So then along the way we develop a perceptual realization of emptiness.
골럼니 탈도버디 아니 추구 남바니 차고라스.
So then, sorry, retract what I said. So we speak of the last two truths, two true paths and true cessations. Correspondingly, they become the exalted knowledge Dharmakaya and the essence kaya.
대장이 네 가진 쉬고였으나 등한주기 또 남기 내가수니 아니 탈 산기 온디기 아니 산기기 다 직군이였는데 숨이었는데 디기 꾸디기 온저롱 규제치 아니 간주 직 라마슈리 친 간지겨 토마메 받는 간주래야 란치스 여대버지 토네 주고 마도 아니 신지 전서 다직 디기 토마메 규제 내셔야 딘디지 문도스라.
The point that we are making here refers to what we use at a time of being a trainee along the path. So we are following the path that leads to Buddhahood, to the state of omniscience. Now, at the time of the path, we form the causes for attaining the two bodies of Buddha. So in terms of the classification of the bodies of Buddha, there are two bodies of Buddhas or three bodies of Buddhas. There are different ways of classifying the bodies of Buddha, but altogether, when we look at the causes that we create for doing that, we work with something that exists for us naturally or innately in our own continuum, rather than using a certain substantial cause that is outside of ourselves, that will become a unique cause for attaining the state of Buddha. We work with something that is found for us innately, naturally in our continuum.
Tinza karsugarta nganzu cho chigni nganzu le ya number tamjin kimbi yishi ani di tulanga bi ta chi sangi thi jushiki tomomai bi gyuchi yobati nganzu shingo dos.
So then when we look at it, on one hand, we need to know what the causes are for attaining this omniscient exalted knowledge that a Buddha has. We have to know that.
That di dindiji nganzula ya yobaina that di tolaya dindi drup to ya chagenji ra chagenji yonaya that di jungoya di nganzu karsota 지 케벤다 마소나 쪼디 디차기여 바지 샘레야 니 투사리스 로 딘디지여 바지 하거나 다디 중고야데 수수 케벤이 바지 수수 톱당 원내게 톱당이 바지.
So we want to understand that we do have the cause for attaining the exalted knowledge that is omniscient of a Buddha. We want to be able to recognize that in order to recognize that of the requirements that are there for attaining the state of Buddhahood, for attaining the exalted omniscient knowledge of Buddha, we have at least one of the prerequisites. It is within us. So when we recognize that, then we think that therefore I have something that can give me a benefit, a great profit. I have one of those required codes for attaining the exalted knowledge Dhammakaya. So when we understand that, when we see that, we think that therefore I'm capable of doing that. Not only am I capable of attaining the exalted knowledge Dhammakaya, the omniscient Dhammakaya, I have the right to do that.
데르다 마도지 남기 원주기 탑당 쇠대 지겨라서 자 탑당 쇠대야디 탑당 전이 초매주치 비길래야 빼나 초매주인 바 가서는 원주 빼나 소소래야 단디 qab래야 여비 르디야 지 원주래야 당화 창상 지 매버디 더 세우도지로서 당부 주디 아니 메신 직전에 수 아니 랭고고요 봐 아니 다만 치료되기 샤는 조고고요 봐디 아니 참으로 지규 그러면 줄라바디 tinza delaya nganzulaya dangwan chansan jingme badi pesiwure dos tinza lu korang la ya dangwan chansan jingme na tela tembi gi da mingda tamda ji gyora da tesu samlo ani ngone thane gi ani thopdang mayin baji the siwu shag dos ra.
It's important to recognize that we have the right to do that because there are some other things in which we have no choice with respect to. Like, for example, we have no choice with respect to having a body such as this, in a sense that it was acquired through some things that came to us from a mother and father, right? So we have taken that, not having a choice, and in due date, we'll also leave it behind, and we also have no choice, we have no say in that. So in that sense, we have no right or no choice with respect to our body, and yet with respect to other things, we do have a right.
Tere dinza tachtangi ene nganzuta mi nangolaya dore tu phajane michibu nangolaya ta dindi ge nyotata amda sodenge da langdenge dindi yungu yorda inaya kunzu langdo kunzu sogudo samchen nganzu langgoya da nganzu sogoya chagmudo sra chagmudo sti kansnata langenda songi dige shi shendu cheyorasna te mara wasra mashibe ongi chigenza ta nganzu ngone nelulaya ani chi cheba chetingi kansa jingone dempa kharibati ngone kharibati tolaya ani shimju chegoe pekishimure dosra.
And all of us are the same in that sense, in having no choice or no saying in taking a body such as that, such as this, and leaving it behind. And when you look at the state of other living beings within the 6 realms of existence, it becomes a bit troublesome because you look at the different type of things that sentient beings do, the different type of things that they take up and so forth. And although we do take up different things and we take up different things, in reality, it's not that we can complain about what other sentient beings do or what they can do. We need to look at our own particular situation and first of all recognize that we have an ability to analyze reality. We can analyze reality and come to see what is correct, what is true.
Dinza nganzugi ta chik sangye ta drupdang sanamundo sangye dang ge rumba taw chik sangye jongdang ge pigi ani rumba changsang ji ani ngon trebaina tene shi ne pigi ge karso da mixing suzulaya pen 대바이 남자 이체 있는다 수 템포지 용해지 용사레스 pen 남기 만주 pen 상기바이나 아니 치다기 두점 그래스 치다기 두점 그래스 디 오늘 치다기 두점 그요레스 좀 그래스 라바이네야 만주 두스타운디 아니 산지 좀 된디 Zambalin, Loni Tonga, to get into the Konya, Pemmy, Ono Jesh Chatanjima, the Shumu, Gombo Zodo, Chida do Kandachom Samsung. Pena, and Toba Dianjinita, Manzulayas, the younger was right. The dig lendi Musutachile, Kejitiva in ya, Susu, Yik Sambaji, land Raya Kabu Peroda. Inaya Shimji Abuchin, Sanji, Jondang, Rambadi, Ratrabaina, Sanji, Tamboni, Yavatoma Mevani, Ranchis Yubi, she conducted Sanji Tugu Yoba, a Dinti, Rambadi Ratrabaina, Tangoni, and Sanji Jondi, Dujin Tangolaya, Karsota, Gombozo, Tsultrim Moto, then Mumalaya. Suzu Majiva Zamado, Sanjing Musuya Bada, Geshe Jaredo, Samsung, and some of the Cortus areas.
We look at the stages by which one becomes a Buddha. And it's important to recognize all the stages that lead to Buddhahood. When you recognize the entire stages that lead to the state of Buddhahood, then particularly or especially faith arises in your mind, faith and trust, which makes your mind stable. Like, for example, we say that the Buddha is one that has destroyed the Mara, the demon of the Lord of Death. This is what we say about the Buddha, right? The Buddha has destroyed the Mara of the Lord of Death. So when we think about the meaning of that, and particularly when we think about it in light of the story of the Buddha, the life story of the Buddha. So we say that the Buddha lived 2,500 or 600 years ago, and he passed away around his 80s, right? Sometimes after he reached the age of 80. So on one hand, we say that the Buddha has destroyed the Mara of the Lord of Death, and yet we say that the Buddha died. So how can we reconcile these two? So if we ask different people about it, it might be difficult to give a satisfying answer. But then when you can recognize the stages that lead to the state of Buddhahood, but not only that, also how in order to attain the state of Buddhahood, we work at something that exists for us naturally within ourselves, within our continuum, something that exists for ourselves innately at the very basis. We can see that on that basis, we can give rise to the bodies of Buddha. And when we understand that, when we can also understand that the Buddha just showed the manner of passing into final nirvana, but in an actual sense, the Buddha did not die. It just showed the manner or showed the aspect of passing into parinirvana.
Tirda and di nedundi tangozu sagadaga kawaya dembongo zobo sangiware ane demboku nyangin debare demboku tambare ane tadimti tuzamawush tsigoros tadigi ane nedundi ane sagadaga namawaya chik samtuwaina ngoni gi sok labochi kaisana sangi gyuzodi ani sangi ta kasota ku nyene tuk nyene zo de kari ton drogi meti munz tuwana da di le sonum cheji sayachi mejo rosredasra.
And the reason that Geshe is mentioning that is that we're now at the month of Sakadawa, right? So although I think that many people think that Sakadawa is just a day. In Tibetan tradition, the whole month is called Sakadawa. So it's a good thing to reflect upon during this month, which is considered to be an important month. For in this month, there occur three important events. It is a month in which the Buddha was born, attained enlightenment, and also passed into parinirvana, or passed away. So if we think about it, in this month, we gather the collections. We accumulate a great deal of the collections, which means that we contribute to the collections that form the body and mind of Buddha.
That the any that's just Sanjom Digi, Piggy, Zebat and the machine, Nanzugi, Namakio Tamatsogia. Zebat rich, Ra, Pigilia, Karsota, Chadamos and Pangore, and it's Duji Jumjin, Sanji Comba Togre, Sonding, and it be Nija Truchilia, Yamnen, Nan, Mizikola, Yamnen, Tamadelea, Nanzun Delea, the Nanzuna Shin Pe. And Supo Cop, the Natsa Tony, and she Pevdre, the Jede di good Sulchi Imachik, Ra, Digi, Chochi Imachik, Dingan to Shingo dus.
So one thing that is important to draw from this month, from this explanation, is the activities that the Buddha performed. So looking at the activities, the acts of the Buddha, the Bhagavan, destroying anger, attachment, and ignorance, destroying the maras, those demons. In doing that on the basis of a day-to-day practice, for a practice that lasts for the entire of one's lifetime. So the Buddha showed those acts. The Buddha showed those acts of that are involved with having a body such as this, becoming sick, and finally passing away. So this is one point of view that you can take on the life story of the Buddha.
That the Kararis Laundi, when the Sanjom de Delia, Peshawana, Sanjom de Delia, Nanzu Jiagi. Sorry. Nanzu J Tuyagi, Kuzuchika, Nanzu J Mutoya, Kuzuchiki, Kuzuni Yobadi, Yasgares, res.
In general, it is certainly the case that there are bodies of Buddha that we can see and that which we cannot see.
Tadi Karares Laundi, the Kandachi Yungores Laundi, Penanganzu Nashin, and a Jomden Digi, and Zebatani, Maingani, Kiun Kalaya, Kuzudi, Piggy, Nanzu Nashin, and a Pami Kodalatin, Tribi, Kuzuchi, Mashibaina, Manzulaya, Musu, Shetenchine, Di Zebati, Tentu Maras.
So with respect to those bodies of Buddha that we can see, those that we cannot see, like for example, thinking about a Buddha being born to a mother just like us, right? So we as human beings, we were born to a mother through substances, materials that came from a father and mother. So did the Buddha, or was the Buddha born like that? Otherwise, had the Buddha not follow a similar process, how could have the Buddha talk to us in a way that we could understand?
Kansana di pigi ta gyubja koran ra kuzu de driyagi gyubja koran di nganzu thum tuyagi sug ragba jig toni kugi nyene chini kuzu de druyores di nganzu gi ta le tabi suziki otso yanchegi jetugiyores ta di ani ta nganzu de jigba pigi tambon suchi ani paman suta yarboshio nanshin yoinza tamadi torgoyati ani su rabadigi ani chungires ro chungires di torgoresta kuzu di torgoresta nganzu ani nangolaya chomdendi kombanyange de devadi kombashen du shebati kuzu di torchani ani nganzu chomdendi kombanyange devare seg Geshe yungores ra.
So then in terms of the ingredients that the Buddha body consisted of, right, being born from a womb and so forth, because there were those ingredients, the body of the Buddha could be seen. And that is only a coarse body of Buddha or coarse ingredients. It was seen by those that had pure karma, right? So those that had pure karma could see such coarse body of Buddha. So it is a type of body that is similar to the one that we have, in that we take those substances, those ingredients that form our body for our mother and father, and because we do that, at the end, such a body has to be discarded. So naturally, when we look at the evolution of the Buddha, we can say that since this is what the Buddha showed or displayed, then also the Buddha had to, you could say, discard of such a body.
Sanji Salaya, Keta Yonsamaros, Pena Pamigi, any Picasata, Pamigi, any Shatali Tribigi, Tindi, Durabing, Chashi, Sulene, Sanji Salaya, Kyoyovena, any Rangi Pamadia, any Sanji Korangia, Sanji Salaya. So
looking at this body that we have now, we cannot take this body that we have now right through to the state of Buddhahood. Otherwise, had it been the case, it would have meant that we have this body that is a coarse body of flesh and blood that came to us from mother and father, and this bundle or this coarse thing would be the thing that can be taken all the way to Buddhahood.
Da ani da sangilaya kuzu shembaji kariyores laundi kuzu shembaji da nganzugi je mutuya ani kuzuchi yungiyores di torgo maras tera.
So what kind of body does a Buddha have? Well, a Buddha has another type of body that we cannot see for the time being, and that body does not need to be discarded.
That that tonya meju jigore that direse ni pita gokor tameng soroji sorsig the tindi zawni ni mares maiba kanza peshawaina ngazu dus ani ta ngostu nandra chadon tuguya nandra ngazu dus yondigi ngazu bi lyugi namgyurta nga ki timato bigi ngazu semgi ani number di semdi ngazu tongumodos ina yang ngazu mantong wi jinsenji semdi mebadi ani zawni ni drum mutu mas sem yobadia jasjata barawas benro.
So what are we saying here? We're saying that there is a body of Buddha, but you can't see it. So someone might say that this is a tricky assertion. You're saying that you can't see it, but it exists. It exists, but you can't see it. So it's not a trick. It's not trying to deceive us. For example, I know we have people here in the room, and we also have people that listen to those teachings on Zoom. So you see our body, so there is a physical expression to our body, and also you hear a speech. So those things can be seen, but we also have mind. The mind is not seen, and although it cannot be seen, still it can be proven that it exists.
Is a Karanzo ni semdi tongmarisra. Chik tobi on the cavalry is Tong Tugor Madota, Narangadagi, Zawin Tongmaris, Ni Semdi, Kaval Drudu, any Kaval Chogudo, Tian Tongmaros, in a deep Manton of Zamjig, Ni Semdi, any Kavala Mandruba, Kavala Chogu Mevadi, Zawin Tugmaros.
So we can't see the mind, can we? Like, for example, with respect to Geshe's mind, let alone seeing whether he has qualities of realizations, we can't see whether it is going in one direction. Where is it going? What is it doing? What is it avoiding? And so forth. We can't really see those things, can we?
Tinza, ta kuzu nganzu je matu ya kuzu dige, ani karsawata gyucha zu di, thongma meba niya deba di, ta nganzu gyula yobigi, nganzu gyula yobigi, ani sem chashu titoni shayores. Sem trashu did kazuda the tone shayores.
So what is that body that cannot be seen? Well, the main ingredient for this body of Buddha that cannot be seen exists in our own continuum. The thing that exists in our own continuum is that extremely subtle mind. This is the ingredient for that Buddha body that cannot be seen.
Je nganzu dinti sem chamudi tandi negoya bigi ani ji sem ravana shingi ani chawachi matubaina dinti sem chamuchi ani yores that dipena chagalamala onzu semdi onzu le ngontu kurgores that dinti sem di sem koran ani tar 동원이 number times can be yishi ani yishi chugungya sem drogores the sem di pig sem ke that shong nga shong to zunamya the sem shombat ki long sem tanin di jariyores kanji sem di ani yulaya yoyi chati sem di ani ji 파요 소요 비기 율레야 주비 차저로스 어딘지 이 차디 레야 다 롱기 민타진 롱 라바다 마다이네 롱기 민 딘지 유이 차디기 아니 구zu기 규치고레스 구zu기 규치고레스 디 지치니 아니 실라 넘버징 구zu 샤바디 아니 디 that torgoyo mares di yanke rangaji and the same nanshingi dien ton togo marado o dindri kuzuchi yores the sanjilero.
So we mentioned that subtle mind that exists in our continuum, that is the ingredient for a Buddha's body that cannot be seen. So then when we look at that extremely subtle mind, currently it doesn't function like a cause consciousness, but at the time of death, it becomes manifest. So that subtle mind at the end will become the exalted knowledge Dhammakaya of Buddha, that omniscient exalted knowledge of Buddha. And the way to do it is explained in the tantric system, the system of mantra. And in the system of mantra, we speak about the mind, but also what acts as a mount for mind. So there is wind, we call it wind, and wind acts as a mount for mind. So when wind is explained, it is said that wind is that which directs the mind, or it steers the mind here or there. So the body of Buddha that cannot be seen is formed from that wind. That wind arises in a certain aspect. It arises in a body with a certain aspect, with having faces and arms and so forth. So this is the type of body that cannot be currently seen by us.
That there's a dinti sem di that jana digoye that dinti sem go shomba ki long senandra sem di yule yuwi chadi ane sanji kuzula ya su sharia gi tap kariyores ken karitone shar go res ro the di 디 티와 용거로 와더라 랑가 고 샤샤니 아니 수고주 주투 그래서 주투 말아 베나 파미 코다다 집어도래.
And also this wind body with faces and arms and so forth does not need to be discarded. So then this whole presentation is based on a combination of mind and wind, and the wind forms a certain body. So how does it appear? How does it appear in a certain aspect? What are the conditions for making that happen? If we leave our mind as it is at the moment, will it all of a sudden arise into that form or in that manner? It's not going to happen. Just like, for example, in order for this body to arise, certain conditions need to come to play. It's like, for example, the meeting of sperm and ovum that come from a mother and father. It's not that randomly or advantageously a body such as this arises.
The namgidon the sugar made the kadzing on Zugi Duntangamatlia, Yaurun Kundita, Tushim one chin shoe calculate among Manchek Shurastra, Manchek Shur the D Tolia, this chick, and Nembe Sotoji, left to Vena, and Yahweh is the some gordangi is a digi shoes, ra, teaching shoes.
Now you might be wondering, what is Geshe getting at? Well, Geshe thought that it'd be good to add some things on top of the things that his owner said in last week's empowerment. So most of us have attained the empowerment of the 1,000-arm Basic, in which his owner gave some explanation, and Geshe thought of adding some details to that.
To do the Chidang on Zugi, Sam Tamodi, Yuli Yuvicha, the Shambaju, Long the Tsukuzu Shayagi, Sanji, Kudriagi, and Kim Tap di Kares Langi, Manzunamgi, and the Sang of Yamnichi, Lagomiachi, and Ram Had ya kitchen, Lagomiaki, Yamnichi was. Teti, and Tindigi Shunta long di, and Sanji Kuzulas to Chayagi, that and K tap Yashudi so deres.
And that being the case, then, as we said, we have this combination of mind and wind. The wind is that which acts as a mount for mind. So in the mantra system, we use a certain condition for giving rise to that, or to the appearance of a wind in a certain bodily aspect. And if you wonder what is the condition that we provide the wind with in order for it to rise in a certain bodily aspect, well, it is a deity meditation. We practice deity meditation in order to make that happen.
The any Yaurunji cousin this song songs, any Nanzu Tagumikalia, Nanzu Tandadi, Tamavi, any Midi, Murawadi, be like Kuzulaya, Combina, Digio Mares, the Loxiris songs are the Ditoliaji, any that Juzumenza, and shifts how would Leo Marmode.
In the course of conferring the 1,000-arm empowerment, his honest gave us instructions. And in his guidance, it says that if you meditate on your course body as becoming the body of deity, which means this course aggregate becoming a deity body, it is not all right. This is a wrong view.
Yeah.
So Izonis had no time to really delve deeper into that, but this is something that he did say.
Re Pumburavadi any Sanji Kulaya Gombaina Kachin Loshi Chagores Lavna Chedan this Sanji Kulaya Gomna Koran Sanji Kuyingo Gomardine Pumburavadi Kula Gomna Loshi Karchasna Pumburavadi Sanji Kungo Drayakor Meva in that. loshi chago ras ra.
So why is considering this cause aggregate as Buddha body in our meditation constitutes a wrong consciousness? Why is it a wrong consciousness to do it? It is a wrong consciousness because this cause aggregate cannot become a Buddha's body.
다 아니 다 간듯이 공고레스 간듯이 공고레스 온디게 안 여름지기 동장 제체네 아니 동바디 아니 다 할래요 공고레 좋지 라 dordu진 대송송스라.
So how then do we meditate on a deity's body? Well, we purify this aggregate into an empty state, and from the state of emptiness, a deity body arises.
대자다 아니 다 동바 하셔야기 동바디 아니 마도 피 유코랑기 피 두르라바지기 아니 응원츠 아니 산지 구주 조야메바디 시부슈 차고레스 다 비기 먼저 남기다 이 찬사의 용마다 저기 쓰나마야 동번유 줄 동비 강래 되니 다 예담 사카리니야 아니 티큐스냐비 다 메바치 거레세 어디 차고레스로.
Which means that when we look at the body that we have now, which is a coarse body, it is made of these coarse particles. A Buddha's body is not made of such coarse particles. So how do we then form this Buddha body? Well, it is just like the different sadhanas that we recite. Like, for example, if you have a deity yoga or deity practice that you doing in the morning, for example, you follow a certain sadhana, and it says in the sadhana, it becomes emptiness. And then from the state of emptiness, so on and so on arises. This is the process by which a Buddha body arises.
제 탈동디게 아니 샘디야 비기 샘 참모디야 아니 일 코랑 토니 랑궁원이 저번 종세기야 매바디 다 저나 베세우레스라.
And ultimately also with respect to the mind as well, just like other objects, it doesn't exist from its own side.
간드스우레스라오나 샘 남시디 아니 남시세디 율라 뜨디 샤고르마도 라 율라 마드비 아니 샘 남시지 자원이니까 요마레스 라.
So why is it clear that just like its object, the mind doesn't exist from its own side? Well, we can only speak of the mind in relation to an object. You cannot speak of a mind independently from its object.
대접배나 저당기 시바생이 샤온디 시바코는 랑문이 매바디 아니 비글이야 사릭잠디 시바 카샤스는 사릭잠디 샤고레스 라브라스 사릭슬라온디 비기 율사와잠디 만주기 율라 바타온디 율사와잠디 아니 율트 통위기 시바레마도 다 아니 델라파 직제니 아니 율 파샤 유전 소장 두스 첸 로바나 자원인 시바메니 와치 자원인 메니 와치 그레스.
So the mind cannot be explained independently from its object. So what is mind? Now we said that the mind doesn't exist from its own side. Well, a mind is a mere clarity and cognition. It is just a mere clarity and cognition. And when that is explained, it is explained with respect to an object. Like, for example, with respect to a certain object, it is clear in that it sees it, it views it, it knows it, and so forth. And if you sever that connection between a mind and an object, you won't be able to speak of a mind as being just or mere clarity and cognition. There's no way of understanding what consciousness is without the object.
Terda ninza dinji ani ranguni tributongi tachi sarik zamsen ndido o dinji gi yule yubi chadigi ani sanji kuzu kita ku ani nyelin chigi yores ra dilam tigo kita ku nyelin chigi yores ninza dinji di ani di itsu kuzu druptuwaina di toni kuzu druptuwaina ta torgoyo mares.
So we have this mind that doesn't exist from its own side. It is a mere clarity and cognition. And that is a substantial cause for accomplishing a Buddha's body. And since it is a substantial cause for attaining a Buddha's body, it means that you don't have to discard that Buddha's body when it is established.
다 돌무고야 가르스나 맨날 간주 샘디 간주 깨와 지워 잡으러와네야 샘 거랑 아니 지워 잡 먹어와 아니 산지 사버든 드레스도스 어디도 찍고 차고르스라.
So we said that again, I'll say it again. So we have a mind that doesn't exist from its own side. It is a mere clarity and cognition, and that is the substantial cause for attaining a Buddha's body that does not need to be discarded. So why we don't need to discard this body? Well, when we look at our current combination of body and mind, while we die and the body is discarded, the mind is not discarded, the mind still continues.
수강전에 야샤와다 내샤와다 딘디 가야 말아왔디 디 돌고고 말했어. 근데 수수 잘라도는 미션을 제만데 수수 되바라 왔어. 디난신 소리지다 레.
It is something that for us exists since time without beginning and up until now. And therefore, since it naturally exists for us, that mere clarity and cognition, we don't need to borrow that from another person. We don't need to take it from another person. It exists like that for us naturally. Just like, when you think about it as something that belongs to yourself naturally, you can think of also other things that belong to you. You might give them to others or borrow them for others. But if it's something that belongs to you naturally, you don't have to borrow it or take it from another. It is just yours.
딘자 다 아니 땅간주 룽아 이스음기 니 개와카 제바이네야 개와릭지기 비 샘디 율유비 차디 수쿠주 드야기 아니 켄레야 로고요레스 디 아니 슈크체디 아니 샘 율유비 차 아니 쿠주 드야기 켄레야 드와디 소노 소레스 랍초레스 아니 샘 신도 트래픽 샘디 넘버 탐지 김비 이시공원이라 저 돈유도비 이시공원 드야기 아니 차기는 저거도나 이식 소레스 랍초레스 로.
So then in terms of accomplishing the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha and what we use in order to give rise to the body and mind of Buddha, well, we spoke about the wind that is a mount for mind, for consciousness. And that wind can arise as a form body of Buddha. So we can say that moving here and there, moving to this object or that object, which is what wind is, that is the accumulation of merit. We also have the mind that arises as the exalted knowledge, omniscient Dharmakaya, or omniscient exalted knowledge Dharmakaya. That is the accumulation of, the mind that arises into that is the accumulation of exalted wisdom.
Reta ani tanganzugi pigi taji tombaleyari teni That just so passion to be young child so it's some lodi nanzu pumbungal tembi chik sam rabat so di nangi pena any chik chadam song zube any numum be sam digiti any jomjek tabjires dipa jombaina any sozolia ranchi subi sam di and sew shuchin su any di any yula down the sam korang mo be shind dawa inza any sam shind dami sam digi yula down the yuki nilu tatu batia and chimachi any 통투야가 소바 어 딘디지 용기요레스 라
So then in our personal practice, we take vows. We practice the 6 perfections. And in so doing, we do that on the basis of these course aggregates that we have now, including a mind that is currently governed by anger, attachment, and so forth. But we use those things. We take vows, we practice the 6 perfections in order to destroy what currently controls our mind, anger, attachment, and ignorance. And when we destroy them, our mind becomes very clear. It becomes so clear, extremely clear, that we can see the final way of being, the final mode of abidance, so clearly just as it is.
데레 딘자다 소니 지 사고야 윤제 사당 그런 버터지 딘디지 토네 지 고아지 라사로스라
Now, why are we speaking about that? Well, through that, we can understand what the 2 accumulations are and also how they're accumulated.
딘자다 아니 다 람날 수자원 비게 아니 조 비게 지 람기 산지 살아야 돼기 람기 지 아니 통만더디 아니 송놈래야 자고르다 라 조비래야 아니 퇴송 공송 그나니 조 퇴버치비 값라 퇴버치비 값기 아니 상로디 송농 그쳐드레스 라 송농 그쳐드레스.
So we bring it back then to the topic that Geshe wanted to cover. He's been doing it in the last couple of sessions. We've started to look at the presentation of the 5 paths. So the initial path out of the 5 is called the path of accumulation. That is the initial path, and out of study, reflection, and meditation, the main thing that we undertake along the path of accumulation is hearing, which means listening to teachings.
데르다 당원주기 비길이야 투숨 제사기 퇴바 제사 삼바 투숨 퇴바 제사기 숑기 조지 님보디 아니 베나타 뎀바시다 뎀바니를 속을 차고로서 디 퇴바 제니 아니 가리 용고를 산디 디 되는데 무슨도 똑똑고 그랬다 정말 지신지 똑똑고 그랬어 다 정말 지신지 똑벌이야 아니 저거 집이기 비길이야 정말 지신지 똑벌이야 응이래야 сам도 실차고 땅고 그러서라 сам도 땅고 그래 다 딘디기 되니 디 삼비까리야 아니 다 삼종글로디 아니 다 전long 처럼 저레스 저러스라나 몬솜도 똑벌이야 저러 집이 까기 람들이야 전long 민타여레스 라.
So the main thing that we do along the initial path, the path of accumulation, is listening. We listen to teachings, and you might wonder, what are the topics that we listen to? Well, we listen to teachings on the 4 truths, the 2 truths, and so forth. And we do that because our goal would be to generate a perceptual realization of the import, the meaning of the 4 truths, the 2 truths, and so forth. So first of all, we need to listen to those teachings. Then we need to contemplate them very deeply. And the deep contemplation that we undertake on the meaning on the 4 truths, the 2 truths, is a preparation that we undertake in order to come to see them perceptually, to realize them perceptually. So first of all, we hear them, we listen to them. So that is done along the path of accumulation. And then the next path is called the path of preparation. And it is called like that because we are doing preparations for a perceptual realization of these topics.
아니 대망 원송 통화를 조치비기 아니 람텔이야 졸럼스 아니 디 또기다 지 삼중 디 또기다 곰숑 비로라 아니 유 대망 원송 토픽 로텔이야 아니 통놈세 거레스 대망 원송 통화인자 아니 디찬 통놈스 라고도스라.
So then along the path of preparation, we're making way or making preparations for a perceptual realization of emptiness. And we do that through reflection, right? So the first task was to listen. Second is to contemplate, that deep contemplation. And once that preparation was done, we can then generate a perceptual realization of the truth. So a perceptual realization of the truth is what we call the path of seeing. That's the third path.
Terda dembangosun de toba tsamjigi tene kyonkunse yondenkunde chagmewainza ta di dembangosun tobe lo di tobji enta ani nyumumba de shijitbala soba ani nguni chingi lo di dembangosun tobe lo de chagwanza ta di tobji ani nyumu pongwalaya telaya hachanggi 아니 공부 축진 보지기 라 공부 땡고 걸어왔어 빼는 간수 빼나 딱 가리 바이네야 소수 가리 잠바이네 빼는 멤버 잠바이나자 아니 다지 칼라소니 잠바이나자 콜리에 테스트 신차바다 다가랑기 빼 아니 장추바지 차그만 왔어라 텔레야 컴디 땡고 왔어 디나시 이게 데모고스 또 세질이야 양 컴친 에딱 컴디 땡이기 로지어라스 semjoras de di ani gombilams yani yang gomni komditenganza telia gombilams ra.
So we generate a perceptual realization of the truth, and this is called the path of seeing. Now, simply realizing perceptually the truth does not mean to say that at this point in time we are Buddhas, that we have accomplished the state of Buddhahood. We still need to use that in order to abandon, in order to eliminate the afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations. And that requires familiarity, which means that simply to do it as a one-time off thing, to just realize emptiness perceptually is not enough. We need to develop the thorough familiarity with a perceptual realization of the truth. It is similar to any other training that you might take up. You might train in being a medical doctor or being a cook. Simply knowing what needs to be done is not enough. You also need to train in order to become skilled in order to develop familiarity with your fields of expertise. So similarly, when we think of this perceptual realization of the truth, it on its own is not enough. You also need that thorough familiarity with that realization of the truth.
Tertadi yang kombi ani lo di tobki ta begi ta ani nyumumi nimbo tengyo nancha shijiji nimbo tengyo nancha kare tengyo baina penta nyumumi nimbo tengyo kalya ko kombi tobki ani nyumumba de yonsu sep sechini ani kabiki ta logigeros ro ani tobiyon din dilya ani mulbilams sekures ro.
So we perform a repeated meditation on a perceptual realization of the truth, and that repeated meditation acts as an antidote for our obscurations. So in stages we remove afflictive obscurations and then cognitive obscurations, and when these two sets of obscurations are completely removed, then we reach the next path, which is the path of normal training or the path of normal learning. That's the fifth path, the path of normal learning.
대다디 가진 다 무르빌람스라고 나와나 페낭안주다 안지 뉴무 빵동인지기 아니 람 딘지질이야 땜바이나 야체 야탕보다 빵투그레스 뉴무 트르투그레스 자원인 소구마르세 소르치기 라 레코디오르신 딘지지 차고레스.
So why do we call that a path of normal learning? Well, it is an indication that if you were to follow such paths, such as the one that we've just mentioned, it is 100% guaranteed without not failing you, that you'd be able to eliminate your afflictive obscurations.
테르다 다 딘지기 아니 종종종고는 물론 남세기 남가디 아니 테바송로 파자바이나 아니 년들랑기 티칭기 자운디 아니 소소소게 페 아니 실론제송 남자를 내고서 아니 가슴 쫑아디 람 가슴 쫑아스 남기 비라야 시에데디 아니 된다 갈서다 로로로시는 딘지 차고레스라.
So we briefly mentioned the five paths: path of accumulation, path of preparation, path of seeing, path of meditation, and the path of normal learning. So we have three vehicles: the hearer's vehicle, the solitary realizer's vehicle, and the bodhisattva vehicle. Each one of them has this corresponding five paths. So path of accumulation, path of preparation, path of seeing, path of meditation, and the path of normal learning, which means three vehicles, five paths each, 15 paths altogether.
테르디즈다 디기 당한주 덴시 모트 도르디도치키 라 저더니 숨 소레 어디나마다 덴시 모트 도르디도지 드로요레스 제 와디리.
So in this way, we have been through 3, 4, or 5 sessions in which we have discussed the four truths. So Geshe gave a presentation of the four truths, including the last one, true paths, and looking at this presentation of the 5 paths for the 3 vehicles.
테르다 안디니 다 자롱지기에 단다 벤루주된 그 손도 나노라야 지네수 데니 된시비 대신코원 주도 치싱이 세미장이 겹숨 대받된 단원 자오 주고 진길라우스 나온다 대시기 남자 신설질이었다 아니 겹이 군조선이야 아니 신 대받토비기 아니 대비톤다 겹도 남다치기 용거레스다 디기 다 아니 탈빌랑기 자오 축진 조거를 송대야디 지디기 당한도 대시 제라야 아니 자위기다 만체다 겹 루톨레다 킹거데네야 아니 먼저 가와상상 토네 아니 겹르좀 받치시 로 지마 지미지마도 차도 된다 지마들라 파르동 인사레
그렇죠. 된다.
됐네.
So Geshe quoted a verse that is taken from a text that is called Illuminating the Threefold Faith, in which Isonis praised the 17 Pandits of Nalanda Monastery. So in one of the verses, it says that in this way, when you develop an understanding of the four truths, you go for refuge. And when you go for refuge with an informed faith that is based on your understanding of the four truths, you thereby proceed through the path that leads to the state of liberation. So far, Geshe explained the four truths, and what he intends to do in our next session would be to look at refuge in the 3 objects of refuge. So next week, we're going to have a break. So we're not going to have a session on Thursday evening next week, but the week after that, Geshe will begin with the 3 refuges.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic teaching. Thank you so much, Geshe. I enjoyed it very much tonight. I'm sorry I haven't come other Thursdays. Thank you very much. Then, my question is, so the Dharmakaya, our exalted wisdom body, our essence body, are they, I mean, I understand that they are dependent arisings. I thought that was really nicely explained tonight. Are those bodies unchanging?
Are they unchanging? Okay.
So in other words, I guess what I'm saying is, are they stable? You know, they're unchanging, unlike my current energy, my current mind is very unstable.
Mm.
Is the Dharmakaya body, the Dharmakaya essence body, is that more unchanging, a lot more stable?
Mm.
Is what I'm asking.
Dila Quran dila chugu dila number ni orwa. Yes, chugu ta mo ni ku orwa. She's a date of the tembo gyua meba den the chagireves gyua meba chagiresa the Quran chiwa the karesenas. Tantanda Quran de semba de den the tembo stamindosa. Then the yama de paso shoshi drogidosa. 제가 뭐니고 다 예수주고 된데 디니 더드 디 템보 요아 메바데네 자기를 베스
Geshe.
100% guarantee.
Nice.
Tanda nganzugi semdi sem ragbad mado benata chik nganzula ya yebi semdi zu ombungale tembi semdi shukche shukchagdos ro the di constant tensa korala ya tembu chini medi any tembo bo any semdia tembu yungwaro asro ngadinro sorugdos ro.
So currently our mind is coarse. Not only our mind is coarse, we also have the 5 senses operating, the 5 faculties. So the support for the functioning of our mind, the senses and so forth is unstable. So if the support for them is unstable, also the mind will be unstable. This is how Geshe looks at it.
Sorwajiki Jesu Dandi Yuruchiki, and Pigi Sheriff Jesu Mandawa, Sorwe Jesu Drawandi, and so Dram the Leg daughter, and Dichidi send the Temuchin Majuchik, Tirin Kiwiyovana, and the Sunny Medeyo, and the Kiwiyo and Tesgutipe, you made the Yurodi, or the Dichawas race.
We follow the different sensations that we have. We don't follow wisdom. We follow our feelings or sensations. Today we're happy, tomorrow we're not happy. Today we have pleasure, tomorrow we don't have pleasure. It happens to all of us, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll leave it here for now. So before we leave it here for now, I'll just remind you that next week, we're going to have a week break. We're going to return in 2 weeks. Tomorrow is the 15th of Sakadawa. So we have, Geshe will teach in the morning from Lama Tsongkhapa's middling presentation of the Cess of the Path of Enlightenment. Then at 1:30, His Holiness the Dalai Lama is giving the Bodhisattva vow online. So you can tune in to His Holiness's website and go and find the live feed of the Bodhisattva vow if you want to take it. And then at 4 o'clock, we have Buddha Shakyamuni Puja, which I assume that will also be broadcasted on Zoom, right?
Yes.
To the world and beyond, to the stars and even beyond them. So if you're not going to be here, be on Zoom. It's going to happen. It's going to be big. All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to put the prayers on the screen. Sorry. Some of us will just shut up. Janchu Sancho Rinpoche Maje Panam Keyochi Gyawanya Pamepa Gone Kondo Pawasho Gyawadi Yuduta Lama Sangye Tuguni Rawachi Kyama Lupa Te Salanko Prasho Kangirawe,
Kowe
Shingante, Kandewa Malu Shungwe, Chere Sewa Tenzi Yatsoi, Shape Site Padu Tengyuji, Tu So Chanchi Jangun Yawe, Tenzi Yombe Gonso Dopose, Chosun Kowe Le Montuju, Pada Sodu Kondu Shakti. Do we still have free spots? Or
I'm not sure how many spots we've got free because I'm getting a few,
산이칠로는 및 가지고 온 초월사?
maybe.
Nishu.
Nishu.
So tomorrow we can
Oh,
have up
yes,
to,
sorry. Yes, we do have a couple of spots.
all right. So 패션 미니슈 연초를 단다
가주 토지했어.
단다 양가 미니 연초를 해서.
네.
From outside.
Yeah. So it seems that restrictions are slowly being lifted up, so we can have 20 people coming to visit us. So we have 2 spots for Grab tomorrow, for Grab. So if you're interested in coming tomorrow to teachings in person, maybe even more than 2. If you want to come tomorrow in person, for tomorrow's teaching, then to be with us for His Honour's Brisafa Vow, then the afternoon Puja Galore, Geshe's teaching in the morning, then you can contact Venerable Churki telepathically or db@chemrazik.com.au.
사가다와 이스라엘 부다스 바테 산이용의 상을 까와서 버려라.
Yeah, so we're going to have, no, so tomorrow is the 15th of Sakadawa, so that's going to be Sakadawa's party. Then someone is having a birthday, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe a death day.
12 o'clock at the cafe.
Yeah, 12 o'clock at the
As
cafe.
many
We're
people
going
as want to can come for that.
yeah, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Outside, we're open.
All right. So probably we have coffee and cake tomorrow at the cafe at 12, so you can come up. And that's it, I think. So if you want to come, contact Churki at db@chimrezik.com.au. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ejo, bye-bye. See you tomorrow. I hope so.
Hello, Jayong.
Coming?
I don't know. Nigel is, are you coming tomorrow, Nigel?
Not sure. I saw Kerry said she.
Is it?
Yeah, I was going to come to the puja, but if you want to go and
Unmute yourself, Nigel. We
Kerry
can't hear you.
can't come. Kerry said she couldn't come.
I can only come to the
Carrie said
puja.
that she's coming to puja.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
She works blue in the morning.
Yeah.
Is Victoria coming?
All right, Nigel, what's up?
So
Talk
maybe
to us,
not,
baby.
maybe not tomorrow then.
You're not hearing him.
Maybe in the
Oh.
afternoon. Oh, is it?
Nejo, you listen?
Maybe just a second. Maybe I need to.
Do something.
Maybe.
Okay, just a second.
If you want to.
All right, talk to me, Nigel.
Okay. Can you hear me? I'm not muted, so you should be able to hear me.
You might have to turn the volume up at their end.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well done.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
That's so
You're welcome to come. We'll have a lottery.
This is,
You coming?
this is my first time ever
Oh,
Who's that?
on
It-
Zoom.
Barbara.
Barbara. Come up the road. Come and see us in person.
I wish I could.
I'll put it on the screen.
You
Just-
can.
Okay. Lantamba.
I'll see you tomorrow.
You're coming?
Yeah, well, on Zoom I am, yes.
Yeah, great.
Okay. See ya.
Zoom volume.
Bye-bye. See ya.
Nigel, you look younger and younger.
I've got a filter on here. What's this here? Geshe.
Application of products.
I'm growing hairier here and thinner up here.
Okay. Yeah.
He's got a good excuse.
Too much.
Was there any space in the afternoon,
Yes,
like at 4 o'clock?
yes.
Okay, then. Did you?
Yep.
Yeah, because we've just got work things on in between all day.
Whatever you,
But 4 o'clock we might be able to get there. Yeah.
wonderful. Good job.
Okay.
Okay.
Tutana, Shalajayam. Thank you, Yakila.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
So what time is puja? Puja is at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.